7331 and Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village. Convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays.
Oh, I think they're doing a great job. A lot of them are.
Good afternoon, Dwayne. How are you?
Not too bad, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Radio Cayman's Talk Today with Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
But I do have some questions.
There are more questions than answers.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. If you're ready to talk, we're willing to listen.
Well, I really enjoy this program today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
May God bless every person.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to start off today in the most positive or productive, the most encouraging and nurturing way as we go into the weekend, because in the studio a young entrepreneur is going to share with us, that's going to inspire us, going to show what we can do with great things. Well, join us after the break and you'll find out more. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today, the Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program. We ask our listeners to avoid statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use any indecent language or make any statement which is false or misleading. Email talktoday@candw.ky or call 1-800-534-8255.
Courtesy of Flow.
Cayman's #1 network that connects you to your world like never before.
Let your voice be heard. Once again, here's your host, Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon, welcome, and thanks so much for joining us. And it's something that I love in a society, and I continue to pray that we will always celebrate, advocate, and ensure that we provide that space that shows the respect to our elderly and to provide opportunities for our young, youthful, energetic, enthusiastic members of our community, whether they're on the south side of 20 or on the north side, because it is the future that is bright when we have people who feel that opportunities are there for them. I'm honored that she would accept the invitation to join us just briefly in her busy schedule. Miss Manu, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. I know you had a wonderful discussion with Miss Anita. I'm hoping that I can do as good as you guys did there. So welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. How are you?
Honestly, and I say this without any reservation, I know I'm blessed, I know I'm favored, thank God for health. And as inspired as I am, as I try to inspire others, I'm encouraged increasingly when I look at you and people like you, because it tells me that the future is full with great promise and potential. And it's incumbent upon us as parents, us as coaches and teachers, us who are a little bit older, to ensure we provide that space that is safe, nurturing, that is encouraging, that is, constructive, but at the same time challenging, so that we can get the most and the best from us. And then when I see you and many of your cohorts stepping up, standing in the gap, and taking the reins, it tells me, man, it's going to be great. So, you know what? I'm even better than I thought I could be. It's wonderful. Tell us, if we can, for those who don't as yet know of you and your endeavors, your entrepreneurial venture. I don't want to steal the thunder. Tell us about it, and tell us why.
Okay. So my name is Manu. I'm the founder of Eats Cayman. We supply edible cutlery and edible bowls to the Cayman Islands right now. It started last year, March, actually. Our anniversary is about to come up in 5 days.
5 days, yeah.
Yeah, 5 days. Mm-hmm. I noticed that we use a lot of plastic cutlery. When I was in school, every day we would use plastic cutlery, and just thinking, I went to school for like 15 years. Every single day using plastic cutlery, every single day, just thinking about the pile of plastic waste that I've produced in my life, just unknowingly. We didn't know any better. Yeah. We didn't have any other options. Mm-hmm. So that's why we had to use plastic cutlery. So I was just looking for alternatives, because I know we have a lot of events here, even birthday parties, everything. Something is always going on. Yeah. And we always reach for plastic cutlery, of course, because we don't have other options. So I thought, if you're using something for 5 minutes and then throwing it away, and then it's going to be on this earth in one form or another forever, it's never going to disappear. I thought we need alternatives to this, something more sustainable. So with edible cutlery, it's kind of like you use it, you use it for the same length that you used plastic cutlery, but after you're done, it does disappear because you do eat it. Whereas plastic cutlery, it's just polluting our oceans and in our landfill, etc.
And this is where I think many of us recognize that there's an issue. We may not understand what it is, but we don't necessarily know how to address it.
Yeah.
Yet you recognize it. Miss Susan wants me to tell you, bring that mic a little bit closer to you.
Sorry.
It's one of these things you just pull and grab and drag. Kind of like, you're working on a spreadsheet or a document, just, grab and drag. There you go. We recognize that there's a problem, but what do we do?
Yeah.
And that entrepreneurial spirit that I think is somehow in, us in this space that we occupy. You've taken it on board. You saw it. You addressed it. Hopefully it's not just economically, feasible, but financially profitable. And for those who don't know there's a difference between economics and finance, well, I'll tell you that lesson one day. So you're making it hopefully work. Hopefully we will partner with you.
Yeah.
So edible
cutlery, yeah. So it's made of different flowers. I always get a lot of questions every time I talk about it. So I just wanted to kind of talk about some of them. So the ingredients, that's the first question, is what is it made out of? What does it taste like? So we have black pepper flavored, oregano chili flavored, chocolate, vanilla, plain. It's almost like, I don't want to say a cracker. It's more dense than a cracker. It's more hard than that because it's supposed to last 30 minutes while you eat your food, as you have pasta there. So you're going to have the black pepper spork with the pasta. So when you try it, you can let the viewers know how you think it tastes. It's very difficult to describe it. It's like a cracker, but I would say better than a cracker and more durable.
Well, I believe as teachers, coaches, and parents in particular, adults generally, we must provide that space that we encourage and nurture, but we also allow our team members or students to be able to explore. So we be guided by them, so they learn by doing. As I said to you, I'm going to be guided by you, so that we have this full experience, right?
Well, do you want to take a bite?
You tell me, is that what I'm wearing?
Yes,
okay,
sure.
So speaking to Manu, edible Eats Cayman, right?
Eco,
sorry. I'm always thinking about the edible part because, some must eat to live, some must live to eat.
Yeah.
All right, so there's a pasta. It's in a bowl.
It's an edible bowl.
And an edible bowl. Now, I don't know about other people, but I like flowers.
These are made of different flours: chickpea flour, brown rice flour, wheat flour, oat flour, and they're vegan. So that is a plus.
I pretend I'm a member of the Legislative Assembly. I'll be invited as they were long ago before the changes. I was Legislative Assembly. The president was then the governor, so I'll be that, and I'll come in and I would, Madam Speaker, let the record reflect that. So I'm opening the cantina, Exhibit A. All right.
So it is paper recyclable packaging, because that's also another question.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like, imagine you're at an event, and instead of a plastic plate, you have an edible bowl, and instead of a plastic spoon, you have an edible spoon. So where's the waste? There is no waste.
Okay.
So you also feel a lot better about it.
Would you be okay if I just broke the tip?
I have another one.
No, that's okay. No. I'm going to consume it all and try it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's important that we start to appreciate the importance of what we're putting into our bodies, but what in our consumption habits that we're causing to impact our surrounding. Not just the immediate area where we dispose of things, whether recycle or not. And as I feel this, and I'm tactile, I like to learn that way.
Yeah.
This feels good. I love the feel of bamboo. So it's kind of like that. It has that warm, nice thing, right?
Well, if you bite into it now, it will be a little bit more hard. But when you eat with it, it's supposed to soften as you eat with the moisture in the food. But if you want to go,
I was going to break the tip at the end.
Go ahead.
Just to check it, right?
Go ahead,
because I was just, after I read and listened, I was expecting it to be. Now, for the reason why I did that and thinking about today, so that I'm very respectful, but also, very deliberate. Many times we don't test, we don't trust, and when we trust, we don't verify. And this feels as sturdy for those of us who cook with our wooden utensils. Now, I would imagine, as you shared, like anything, if you leave your bread into your soup, it's hard at first, then it gets soft, right? So, Miss Susan, let the record reflect. You can hear the cracking. It's a bit of a nice crunch.
Yeah, you have the black pepper flavor there.
What do I taste? Better than some crackers that I've found are supposed to be healthy.
Yeah.
It does not have, and please, if I say something that you say no, you go right ahead and defend it, because I know my young people. It does not taste like how people say, oh, it tastes like paper or cardboard.
No, it doesn't.
This actually has a flavorful taste.
Yep.
There's a slight linger that even, I don't want to say peppery, but a little bit of a spice to it that's nice, not hot, flavorful.
Yeah.
That's good. And then the objective would be then, as I would eat my food, you probably have whole wheat pasta with a sorghum thing.
You're not going to taste the pork actually when you eat. That's the whole idea behind it. It's not going to mess with the flavor of your food. You're only going to taste it when you actually bite into it.
Okay. Is the bowl and the fork the same thing, or is one, in terms of, one you say is a flavored with black pepper, are these both flavored the same, or one is one?
No, the bowls are different. We have plain flavored bowls and sweet flavored bowls. Right now we're out of the sweet ones, but this is plain. You can actually bite into it if you like.
I will.
Yeah.
You know that? I mean,
I do have ice cream for you, remember? So.
Hey, and I'm hoping that as people listen to us, that they don't just laugh at me and laugh with me, but we start to appreciate what you're trying to convey to us. Like many of you, we need to understand that there are those of us who are saying things for some reason we're part and we're not quite understanding. Then there are those of us like you, our children and the like, who understand probably with great respect, like what my parents and their parents understood, that somehow us in the middle are forgetting. That we have to be good stewards of our environment. We need to look after the marine environment as well as the terrestrial. We need to understand that when we do something, there's an impact. And I'm sure we heard it. Waste not, want not. So, I'm going to try this.
Okay, go ahead.
Pasta first?
Sure.
With the spoon and the fork and the knife and the bowl?
There's no knife, unfortunately.
Okay. The pasta is okay.
Yeah, I didn't make the pasta, so you can say whatever you want. Yeah.
But
okay.
It doesn't have that, it doesn't impact the flavor of the food.
No, it doesn't.
At all.
Nope.
It just, I've only had some foods with wooden, like bamboo-like utensils. And many times when you have that, you can taste and feel that you're having wood spoon or whatever that thing is. In this case, this doesn't, you don't tell it.
No, you can't tell.
I was expecting it, honestly. I trusted you, but I wanted to verify. I was expecting that. And you know how some of us, when we feel things, if we don't like how it feels, well, this doesn't. Would you forgive me for doing what we all do in a private but fail to do in public? We put a fork and a spoon in the mouth and we lick on it. It doesn't leave that taste in your mouth. It doesn't make that feel.
It's supposed to be subtle. Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Okay, Susan says, so you don't embarrass yourself. Take a break now. We'll come back and I'll talk more and we'll get into it.
All right.
And you can share with us. Thank you so much for joining us. Speaking to Manu, Eats Cayman. All right, stay tuned for Talk Today.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointments.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Barry's Golden Jerk, the Cayman Brac sensation, ranked the #1 restaurant in Cayman Brac by TripAdvisor and home of the authentic jerk. Barry's Golden Jerk, serving large portions of the best jerk chicken and pork. Open Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday near the airport, or call 917-6713. Barry's Golden Jerk. It's simply better.
Ouch! It's hard to expect a good day after a bad night's sleep.
Take advantage of Brand Source Home Gallery's Sleep Sale. Save up to 40% plus free delivery on Tempur-Pedic and Silly mattresses. Insomnia is bad for your health, so start sleeping better with the Brand Source Home Gallery 40% off Sleep Sale. Hurry! Sale ends Saturday, March 11th. Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park. Call 949-5211.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back, and thanks for joining us. And I'm honored to be able to invite you to help me to not only showcase and celebrate, but to encourage that entrepreneurial spirit that is among many of us, and especially to nurture that within our young people as they pursue their educational endeavors, as they understand, their calling to be responsive, to the needs of our environment. Miss Manu, Eats Cayman, with our edible cutlery, all the things sometimes that we put in our plates to go into our bodies, we are conscious of it. But how many times do we, as you've shared, unconsciously take Miss Manu has a lot of stuff. You're giving ice cream to my father, not to me. The notion, how did this come about for you, other than what you shared, going through school every day, seeing how our consumption habits impact us? Have you ever been, remember way back in the day, in the airplane, if they gave you a meal then, they would give you a proper knife and fork. Now you... thank you. Wow, this is a spoon as well. All right. So yeah.
You can get that open.
Yes.
So yeah, it was in school as well. You just realize a lot of things when you kind of pay attention,
Mm-hmm.
because I started taking part in beach cleanups, and then Plastic Free came out. They're an amazing group.
Mm-hmm.
You start to be more environmentally conscious, and when you're realizing things that you do, like changing out your plastic toothbrush for a bamboo toothbrush,
Mm-hmm.
using a reusable bag instead of a plastic bag, little things like that, plastic alternatives, they're getting very, I'm not going to say popular, but it's more in trend kind of nowadays to be environmentally conscious.
Mm-hmm.
So I was thinking, what is, like, for plastic alternatives, what is an alternative to cutlery? Because that's something that's used every single day. Takeout meal, you just use it. You have a whole drawer full of plastic cutlery. You don't even think twice about it.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of trying to think outside of the box, trying to find alternatives for it. Like, a lot of other single-use plastic items have alternatives already.
Mm-hmm.
But plastic cutlery, they do have a couple alternatives, like the compostable ones that I see sometimes, but those also take a while to decompose. There's not an immediate satisfaction that it's just disappeared after you use it.
Mm-hmm.
It's still going to be in the landfill for a while.
But as we're speaking to Manu from Eats Cayman, the idea is one of our listeners weighing in, and they're sharing that oftentimes we don't see how it's important not just to be trendy and pace setting, but we need to see what and how it impacts us.
Mm-hmm.
He's given a story that he's shared in the past where he would take certain items to the supermarket with him long before we had these bags that we would use, and when he went out to eat, certain foods that he would carry with him, the hot sauce and even some utensils,
Okay.
and only to be looked upon in not the most complimentary way.
Yeah.
I remember the first time we were out and when that happened, and he said, listen, I like this particular fork or knife, spoon or whichever.
Yeah.
Now what he found is that there was a particular knife that he carried if he was eating a particular food, because no matter which restaurant, no matter how fancy, the knives they provided to him didn't do the job he liked. It wasn't a big knife. It just he just liked it, and people would kind of say, well, you're weird. You say, yeah, of course, but that was okay. These days you take that, now you may be charged with carrying a weapon of some sort. But I wonder to what extent we as people understand the importance of, as you've shared, we can go and we can say, no, I don't wish that.
Yeah.
Do you have this? Here's an option that you provide for consumers. Do you have edible cutlery.
Yeah, that's the whole idea behind it, is that consumers,
Mhm.
you'd be surprised how many people are willing to pay a couple extra cents for an edible spoon. Because we have a deal with Peach Wave right now and Scoops, and we've gotten multiple repeat orders from them. That just goes to show people want to be environmentally friendly, but they just don't have the option.
Mhm.
So like for Peach Wave and Scoops, at the checkout, they have the option. You can pay like a couple of extra cents and get an edible spoon instead of a plastic spoon. And they've ordered from us multiple times, which means that people they support the mission and they want to be environmentally friendly. And that's kind of the idea. I kind of want to expand from just ice cream shops for takeout for restaurants. So people get a lot of takeout here, and plastic cutlery is used over and over again. So that's kind of the idea, because when you're getting takeout, if the person on the phone asks, would you like edible cutlery? Then you might say, oh, I didn't know we had that option. Yeah, let's get that. Because people are more on board than you think they would be. They just need that option given to them from the bigger like restaurants, etc.
So the consumer needs to be aware of it, but also the vendor, right?
Yes.
And we know some people, some places may, and the consumer may feel a bit conscious of it, but they may say, listen, I'm coming for takeout. I'm going to bring my container. You put however much you normally put into your thing, but put it in mine. Here we have the convenience of not having to do that, but we can still feel as if we're being environmentally responsible. This versus the option of, is it compostable, where there are certain things, those items, by the time you get home, even in the shortest of drives, your food has already gone through it. I'm watching this now for the last 20 minutes, and this is as sturdy as ever. I consciously, with your permission, try to destroy your fork. It's still standing up nicely.
Well, for takeout, not necessarily the bowls, because there's no cover for that. The
Right.
bowls are mainly for like parties or like events or anything where you would use like a plastic plate or plastic bowl. It's mainly the cutlery that I want to push for takeout, because they're individually wrapped as well. They're not just going to be thrown in there,
Right.
so you'll feel better about eating it because no one has touched it, and it is wrapped in paper recyclable wrapper. Just to put that out there.
It's edible.
Yeah,
right?
so if they have that option when they're getting takeout, if they're getting pasta from a restaurant, and they say instead of plastic cutlery, I'll pay a couple extra cents to get an edible spork, and as you've tried, it's pretty sturdy. It's going to hold up.
It is. Wow.
So people would be willing to make that change. It's just the restaurants that needs to kind of
during
hop
the
on
break,
board.
I was testing. I was trying to see what I would have to do to consciously break it.
Yeah.
I don't wish to disparage plastic any more than it may have been, but this took a lot more effort to break than it did for plastic.
Yeah.
So it's much sturdier.
That's the whole idea behind it. Yeah.
And it tastes well. But I'm also thinking though that at the end of the day, we eat what we've ordered, whether we've cooked it ourselves. Then we have the bowl and the cutlery. More sustenance, a little more food, and a lot less waste.
Yeah, it's like a little snack at the end of your meal as well. Yeah.
What was the initial reception, and is that different from the growing reception you get now from people who look at it? Was it a bit novel and go, not so sure?
Yeah, in the beginning it was pretty tough, not gonna lie. It was pretty tough to kind of get the word out. The owner of Peach Wave, he was the first person to hop on, so super grateful for him. Just kind of when he hopped on, that kind of got the train going. And then another really big step was when it got into Foster's last year, October. Then it was like in retail, right? It was on the shelves. People had access to it instead of going through our website, because we do sell them through our website as well. But if you don't know about us, you won't know to go to our website. Whereas a supermarket, you're going to be in the supermarket anyways, and if you walk by a box that says edible spoon, edible spork, you're like, what is this? I want to see what this is, and you'll pick it up. So
your website, I mean, if we wanted to, maybe for our homes, maybe we have a birthday party, some celebration, and for whatever reason, maybe we just think it's fun and novel, we're not quite sure, we just want to test it out. How do we, get it through the website? What's the website?
I mean, there's actually a couple different ways that you can get our cutlery. If you want a box, you can go to Foster's Camana Bay. They have our edible vanilla sporks, small edible spoons, our edible bowls, and they're going to be getting our black pepper edible sporks as well that you have now. So if you want those products, you can go to Foster's Camana Bay. The boxes are also at Treats Restaurant. They have a box on top of their takeout counter where you can buy a box, and then our website is Eats Cayman. .com. You can place an order on there as well. We can do pickup or delivery any which way. And honestly, if you just send us a message on Instagram, etc. Also, we're on Bento. Yeah.
So even when you get your delivery, you can say, hey, do I have this option?
No, unfortunately not, because that would require collaboration with the individual restaurants. So it's just our company is on Bento, like if you want a box.
Yeah.
That is a great idea, and people have suggested that to me before, but in order to have that happen, the restaurants would have to be on board, which is why I have been reaching out to restaurants.
Get on board. And then the consumers too, to drive it to say, hey, do you have that? And if you don't, maybe next time. I'm thinking, I'm not going to profess that I've gone through the different restaurants to do their finances, because I haven't, but they must spend money to buy their cutlery. This cost is part of their other costs, so if they just substitute it for this, they're becoming more appealing to us as a consumer, showing that consciousness that they've done it. We may reward that by being more loyal.
Yeah, and I'm not saying to them, you have to give these to your customer for free. It's up to them. They can charge a couple cents. They can give it for free. It's whatever they want to do. There's no hard rules for it. So they can also make a couple cents off of each.
Remember, not long ago, the supermarkets would charge a few cents for, those bags.
Yeah.
Then
I think they still do.
Yeah. And then eventually, we have. So it's a matter of changing our buying habits, changing our perception, understanding the consequence of what we're doing and the reasons why. Take this quick break. When you come back, can you tell us more about the adventure? Where you're hoping to take it?
Sure.
What's coming up? I've allowed the ice cream to sit.
Yeah.
I can say that I'm, and with your consent, I have
the bowl is not leaking.
Consciously, deliberately. Ice cream would not last as long in my bowl. I don't care what kind of bowl it is. And it's still firm. It's not moving around. For some strange reason, it almost seems that ice cream isn't melted as much as it would in other bowls. I don't know. And I saw when you served it, it was at the appropriate temperature.
Yeah.
So it's still there. All right, let's see what happens during the break. The bowl and the ice cream might be gone, but it might not. You'll have to return and see what happens. Stay tuned.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab. Blood test, x-ray, and mammogram, all of that is MedLab. Affordable fees and friendly service, a full professional team. MedLab is always comfortable, MedLab is always clean. For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
105.3 Breeze FM live. Now it's Man Bushman representing for 105.3 Breeze FM.
Hey, this is DJ Lynn. Join me Sundays from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 for Beach and Reggae Sundays. Whether you're out in a boat, in the backyard, or simply on the beach catching some sun, it's the perfect way to unwind for the weekend as the sun sets on our beautiful Caribbean Sea. Join us this Sunday from 2 p.m. on Breeze 105.3 Beach and Reggae Sundays.
Attention passengers, the Cayman Airways Panama airfare sale has been extended. In just under 2 hours aboard Cayman Airways, you can explore UNESCO World Heritage Sites and the 8th wonder of the modern world, all within driving distance of a cosmopolitan city. Hurry, book by March 12th to get Panama airfares on sale from just $296 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Panama getaway.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thank you for joining us. And I'm hoping that you, like me, are as encouraged and as supportive and nurturing. And I'm honored that Miss Manu, Eats Cayman, ecoeatscayman.com, for me to see our people achieve, higher education, other academic accolades, athletic accomplishments, artistic awards. I can celebrate with them. I don't have to do it. This is someone I know, or someone who knows someone who knows someone. It's in our society, and we raise the bar. We get to see it's being possible, and that may encourage others to try. For you to take time out, not just to celebrate, not just to showcase, but perhaps through you encourage others to pursue their endeavors, their entrepreneurial nature that may be within them, and more importantly, what they say, the proof is in the pudding. You're allowing me to publicly put your product to the test.
Yeah, because you can't just talk about edible cutlery on the air.
Yeah.
You have to test it out.
Test it out, right?
So people know how it is.
Right. And I've been testing it out.
Yeah, because if I test it, that's bias. But you're like an unbiased third party, so you're going to be honest.
Well, I get accused sometimes of being, too honest. Don't know if that's possible. I'm certainly endeavoring to always be respectful, and when it comes to someone who's a little bit younger than me, or a lot younger, or who is older, or a lot older, to even be more respectful and attentive and sensitive. But that doesn't mean that you can't be truthful. And truthfully, I've sort of put this to the test. You saw me during the break doing different things. That's not to be disparaging. That's not to be doubting. That's just to be able to remind us that if we really want to know something, we need to test the metal, have our metal tested, and your product stands up exceptionally well, and it does taste good. It actually feels good. Some things don't feel right in your hand.
Yeah,
that pen doesn't sit well because of it. That piece of material we don't like how it feels. This feels good, smooth.
That's good to
the
know.
Texture is nice. It doesn't make you feel electric, but it tastes well as well. Honestly, I was surprised at the taste. Okay. There's a cracker that I have in mind, but maybe that would be considered sponsorship. Tastes better than that.
Okay, that's good to know.
All right. So where do you hope to take this? Where and what would be your objective if you can have it realized?
Well, as I mentioned before the break, kind of where I want to take this is more restaurant focused, takeout focused. Kind of try to limit the amount of plastic cutlery that is used during takeout. Anywhere where plastic cutlery is used, like anywhere you can think, where is it used? Parties, events, takeout is a big one. Wherever plastic cutlery is used, I wanted to see it eventually kind of replaced with edible cutlery. It doesn't have to be completely replaced. Obviously, that would take a while, but partially replaced with plastic cutlery, with edible cutlery. Yeah,
we complement what we do. We supplement it. We can replace certain things.
Yeah.
To our listeners, and again, just my nature, I like to test. If I had a different life, I might have been a scientist. We don't accept things, we test it. Yeah. I've consciously stuck, that's the word I gotta say, I didn't jug it in. I placed my spoon into the ice cream to see how long it would stay there. And then I can still eat it. It's not wobbly or wishy or squishy. It's still very sturdy. It is actually, well, I don't like plastic.
Yeah.
Some spoons, when you have soup and you eat them with this plastic, it feels a certain way, it cuts your mouth a certain way. I don't like it. And then I'm always conscious that, well, that's plastic. What is in that plastic? And that's a hot or a cold. Is it off gas and is it doing something? Yeah. I don't have that sense of consciousness with this. It feels comfortable, natural, organic.
It is.
All right. I won't bite the spoon as I did with a fork because I'm going to eat ice cream and I need my spoon not to have holes.
Yes. So
but that will come after.
Yeah, the idea is that you eat your food first and then the cutlery after. But a lot of times when I give it to my classmates sometimes to try it out. And they're like, can I just eat the cutlery? And it's like, I always bring two because they always want to try it by itself because it is, in a way, kind of a snack. So you can go ahead and eat that spoon because I did bring more.
Yeah.
I always bring extra because they always get so excited they want to eat the cutlery before the food.
Well, I exercise some element of self-control, knowing that unconsciously. That ice cream has been there almost half an hour. Right? The bowl is still... is it okay, Miss Susan, if I just tap it? That's me tapping the bowl. That's not me tapping my noggin. The ice cream has not melted, right, any more than it would. If anything, it actually looks as if it's insulated better than in other containers. And I do like ice cream. And I can tell you that it don't last long on my plate because it will melt.
Yeah.
And here isn't particularly cool. In fact, I think the temperature may be a little bit warmer than normal. But the ice cream has not, become, so melted that you got to drink it with a straw.
I mean, yeah, I've eaten soup in those bowls, so I have a lot of faith in that.
Yeah.
So I always test it out before I kind of give it to the public.
I don't want to exaggerate and make people think that I'm, overly endorsing, as it were. I'm very proud of you and what you were trying to achieve by helping us to think. But if this was like the case of something hot like soup,
yes,
has it done the same thing as it's now doing with the cold in terms of keeping it cold, keeping it hot?
Well, I don't know about... That's actually the first time someone has pointed out that it's insulating it well. That's not something that is supposed to be like a property of it, but that's kind of great to know that it does that.
Well, look for yourself. I mean, come on, ice cream melts quickly.
Yeah.
And my hands, like my heart, is warm.
Yeah.
Right?
You're very observant. I have not noticed that.
And it's not... Well, I did tell you I was going to put it to the test. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to enjoy the ice cream. Susan got the cookies the other day. Today she's not going to get in this. Too bad. It's just mine.
Well, I have some extra cutlery. Miss Susan can try it out.
No, man, this is amazing. And I'm see why Miss Anita was so excited. I know you have to get back to other things, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would like at some point you come on as much as you want. Help us to be encouraged about what we do. But other than, the places that we can buy it and online, tell us more so that we can change our habits now.
Yeah. So if you want to try some of the edible cutlery, there is a seafood festival going on tomorrow at 3 p.m. at 7 Mile Beach, Seafood by Live. Mm-hmm. They're going to be featuring some of our edible bowls and edible forks and edible cutlery in some of their stalls. So you can head on out there if you want to try, a couple of samples. And then besides the seafood fair, tomorrow you can also go to Foster's Camana Bay. You can find our boxes on Bento. You can find an individual spoon at Peach Wave with your froyo, or an individual spoon at Scoops Cayman with your ice cream. And ecoeatscayman.com if you want to buy a box. So we have another product launching soon. I don't want to announce what it is yet, but it's another alternative to plastic. There
you go. So when you're ready, you let us know.
Yep.
And the good folks at Treats, they have there as well.
Yes, Treats Restaurant as well. They have boxes there.
They're amazing individuals over there. The team, listen, they're just fantastic. So it's right there. You can get it. Get your ice cream, get your chocolate.
A couple different locations, but looking, if anyone in the restaurant industry is listening right now, I'm kind of looking to expand into takeout and just the restaurant area as well.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that the individual restaurateurs would look at this as an option, consider what their spend is now for, their plastic, whatever they and substitute for this, and perhaps as a consumer, I might be more inclined to purchase from that place because they're being environmentally sensitive, conscious, helping me to support them because they're supporting, our future environmental impact.
Yeah, and the customers, they're very on board. They need that option. So even if restaurants charge them a couple cents, the customers will be more than willing to buy, and that's just not something that restaurants are realizing right now, but hopefully soon. This
pasta with the pesto is nice. But I think I prefer the fork.
Okay.
Tastes better than the pasta. But I'm amazed at how delicious actually it is. If you hadn't said that, this was edible, many of us, and I do not advocate this, but we chew on things, especially when we're pensive. Get one of these, if that's your habit, would be a better substitute for that reason alone.
Yeah.
All right. Any closing thoughts you may want to leave with us, Ms. Manu?
Just hoping that a lot of more people will hop on board this edible cutlery train, trying to partially replace or eventually completely replace single-use plastic cutlery in Cayman, because as a small island we do use a lot of single-use plastic cutlery at events, this and that. So I have a solution here. It's just kind of a waiting game for everybody to hop on.
Okay, well, ecoeatscayman.com if you want.
Eco Eats on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, LinkedIn.
Everywhere.
Eco Eats Cayman.
Well, we say we should vote with our wallets, or in West Bay we vote with our wallets. So make sure that as a consumer, as we're doing takeout or whichever, that we perhaps ask and inquire, do you have this option available? you as a consumer become informed. You inform your particular vendor, and maybe this becomes the accepted norm.
The new takeoff. Yeah.
All right, there you go.
All right.
So inspired by what you're doing, and makes me believe that we might actually have a future that is not too bad, despite the foolishness of me and those who are a little older and are less than stellar habits at times. So thank you for providing that option.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, EcoEatsCayman.com. All right, thank you, Ms. Manu.
Thank you so much.
All right, well, when we come back, we're going to tell you how the ice cream was, how the bowl is even better. Susan and I will arm wrestle for the spoon. We'll see who happens. I'm going to win. All right, stay tuned. Listen to the news and be a part of our ongoing discussion for Open Line thereafter.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Health Services Authority.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The Public Health Department reminds smokers who wish to quit the habit that there are still some spaces left for the upcoming smoking cessation classes the department is offering. Classes start on March 15th from 5:15 p.m. to 6:45 p.m. every Wednesday for 7 weeks in the Public Health Department. The new location for the classes will be held at the Georgetown Financial Center, Fort Street on the 5th floor. For more information or to sign up, contact the Public Health Department on 244-2889, 244-2621, or email sarah.hetley@hsa.ky or nola.sanderson@hsa.ky. In international news, 7 people, including an unborn baby, have been killed in a shooting at a Jehovah's Witness meeting hall in the German city of Hamburg. They say the gunman acted alone in Thursday's attack and later took his own life. His motives are unknown. The suspect, named only as Philip F., is said to have had ill feelings towards the religious community of which he had previously been a member. Prince Edward has been named as the new Duke of Edinburgh, Buckingham Palace has announced. The king has given the title to his youngest brother on Prince Edward's 59th birthday. It is a title strongly associated with their father, Prince Philip, who was Duke of Edinburgh for more than 70 years, up to his death in 2021. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
The Headline News are brought to you by Health Services Authority.
HSA's cardiology clinic is now located at Smith Road Medical Center. Our cardiology team provides expert care and treatment for heart conditions such as coronary artery disease, heart failure, arrhythmias, hypertension, congenital heart diseases, among others. The new location offers state-of-the-art cardiac diagnostic testing, including echocardiograms, ECGs, and stress tests. To contact, call 949-8600. At HSA, your heart matters to us.
Hinton Roxroy Connolly was born in Creek, Cayman Brac on the 9th of September 1937. The second of 8 children born to Henry Kitchener Connolly and Olive Connolly, fondly known as Big H to his family and friends. Like so many other Caymanian boys and men, young Hinton went to sea at the tender age of 17, working with national bulk carriers for 5 years. During his tenure at sea, Hinton sailed on many different ships, namely the Ulysses, Old Titan, St. Clair, Petrolor, Petra Sea, and Petra King. He sailed between Portland, Maine to Venezuela.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
When you're craving something big, something tasty that gives you that lip-smacking satisfaction, something that hits the spot, there is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
It's pretty tasty.
Filling and full of flavor. Try our new sweet onion steak teriyaki with a twist. Or the classic chicken teriyaki. Top it with green pepper, onions, cheese, and that sweet onion teriyaki sauce, all piled on your favorite artisanal bread. Satisfy that craving with a footlong from Subway.
Fresh, delicious, tasty, meaty.
Let's make it a meal with a drink, chips, and cookies. There is nothing better than a footlong from Subway.
Are you a Caymanian job seeker searching for employment? All jobs, whether full-time, part-time, temporary, or permanent, will be required to advertise on the Jobs Cayman portal. Visit work.ky. That's worc.ky to start your job search to see all available jobs or to apply. For assistance in registering or to learn more, call toll-free 1-800-534-9672 or customer care at 945-9672. 945-9672 today.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon and welcome back in. I want to invite you to be a part of a discussion. I don't have a problem, as a friend used to use a different term. Now he uses it as, a thought leader. At first he says in a different way, and I thought, he was trying to be complimentary, but many who would hear that would think, what is he saying? But only because I think I understood his intent, I now take on board what was intended and the way he shared it to me as a compliment, despite others looking at it differently. And I want to reference that to ask you, call in. Let's get into some commentary, some, wonderful exchange of ideas and information, and ask you to help me as we help each other to encourage and nurture our young people. Miss Manu accepted my invitation. She's, like many of our young individuals, studying, trying to ensure that they attain what us as parents want for them, the very best in terms of their education, as they pursue their endeavors, whether it's artistic, whether it's in the business arena. Well, they should have that opportunity, especially if they are here. And this is where, no matter where they were born, this is where they're making their homes. This is where they have come into their own and spent their formative years. And it was truly an honor. And if you think it as promotion, well, so be it. We need to be able to publicly commend, promote, support, celebrate, and showcase our own. It's great that when someone passes, we show our respect to them and for their contribution, their families. Perhaps some of us would even, work diligently to have something named in their honor, a statue or some of the edifice erected in their honor. That's great. But how many times have we heard, we should give flowers while they're alive? Well, I hope that Miss Manu and others like her would accept the flowers, as small of a token gesture as it was, that we're trying to offer now. Because what she is doing will do two things. Hopefully, it would encourage others in a very positive way, not like what sadly happens. And I say this, and if you're offended, well, too bad. Take it on board and check your spirit. When someone do something and we say, yeah, he can do it, I can do it too. Well, no. Change that tone and say, hey, that person can do that. I can do that too. Think of it. Yeah, you're a sprinter. You remember when the 100 meters, people would run it and it would probably take them a day to run 100 meters, and now they can run it in a second. Well, that's a bit of an exaggeration on both ends. But because something has been achieved, it becomes possible. That may make other people appreciate that, hey, that was done, so it can be done, and maybe I can do it, or someone else can. So she, like many of our young, agile minds, have seen a need and have responded in a great way. So by, having her work her schedule when it was convenient. Many weeks pass, and hopefully, we'll have her back in as we would others to celebrate them. Next week, there's a wonderful lady who has accepted an invitation to come on board to talk about something, in this endeavor. Let's give you a hint. We talk about food security. Well, that discussion will be part of that. Again, like, entrepreneurs, they have, time that they need to devote to promoting their endeavor, but they need to dedicate to ensuring that it's a success. So her time will only probably be like Manu's, limited, half an hour or so, but we're going to be anxiously and very excitedly looking forward to that discussion next week. But for now, let's reflect on what has transpired. A very agile mind, very ambitious spirit in Manu, and coming and talking and sharing and allowing me to publicly put her product to the test. I don't know if you like ice cream, whether you are like many of us now and trying to, because of the sugar and the fat grams and the like, cut back, or whether because of dietary restrictions or some other sort of sensitivity to allergens or, a food intolerance or what have you. We may eat it and it's not necessarily the full fat dairy based, but she's put ice cream in a bowl, and I can, if you'd allow me to, in this instance, demonstrate a level of honesty. Hear that knocking sound? That is the bowl that this ice cream has been in for close to 50 minutes now, and it hasn't melted, that has become watery. The spoon still is very sturdy, and I will, as I promised Manu, to test it. And I can tell you so far, it's not, a spoon that you can't continue to use beyond the, sort of marketed, guaranteed, quote unquote, 30 minutes. And I do that deliberately. So maybe we as consumers, as we voting, with our wallets, how we make our spend, we're told to be conscious. Think back to our parents and our grandparents and their practices. Waste not, want not. The idea of being, long before there was this, public push, and sadly by some, it's just a ploy. It's really just what it is. Even the big, groups, whether it's coming out of the UN or the WHO or some other entity, it's just people seeing an economic benefit. But there are many, thankfully, more who understand that, like our parents and their parents and their parents before, they had to be conscious of what they had. They were, of the view that they would save some, for tomorrow. They would be, very, very deliberate in their consumption. It wasn't because it was subsistence farming or they lived in a space. They appreciated that they had to take care of the land. What is it my friend says? If you want the fruit, you take care of the tree. And here is an opportunity from our young, very, very dedicated, deliberate, diligent efforts on the part of our youth to provide an alternative. So as we, as consumers, change our buying habits, the packaging and like, perhaps we ask, the places we visit where we can get food, is there an alternative to something that is more environmentally sensitive and responsible? Well, Eats Cayman.com, one option. All right, let's talk about other things so we can continue that. Let's check that the phones are open. To our listeners yesterday, I do not know what more to say. That is not something that has not been addressed or brought to the attention of those who could do something. I've got a handful of people. To the last gentleman in the shop last evening, I really appreciate that you recognize, it was closing time. I needed, like you, to get somewhere, so we could not engage in the extended discussion as we would normally. But he, like a few others prior, hey, I tried calling in. I couldn't get through. A great discussion with Billy. I can tell you, on our end, the phones did not ring. We, it's, we don't know what to say. I'll be honest with you. It's not to try to make excuses, to apologize, or anything. But if we don't know that the phones are ringing because we can't see it, hear it, we can't answer it. So hopefully and prayerfully, those who are in a position outside of Radio Cayman, because it's not on our end, please address it. Our callers are frustrated. They weren't so polite. I believe they would string us up in a sense. Say, boy, let me answer your phone. And I know the last gentleman yesterday, like the few before, they were honest. They just say, I tried to call it. I wanted to, not just ask a question. I wanted clarification. There was a very, very good discussion. We know Mr. Kenneth, because he called, he got through, he identified himself. He said, boy, I can't hardly hear you. I don't know what's happening. That's unfortunate. And I'm not saying that to make anybody feel bad. I'm just hoping that it makes us appreciate that if we're going to raise the bar, we need to do our best all the time. Miss Manu, let's take a page from her book. She brought her product. She put ice cream in the bowl. I stuck the spoon with her consent, and just like they say, proof is in the pudding. The spoon is still very sturdy. The board is still there. The ice cream has melted a lot more. It's been almost an hour now, and it's not soup. I don't need a straw to drink it. If you believe in something and you're willing to work for it, there'll be success. And the success isn't just at the cash register, the bottom line. The success in seeing something that is change for the better. And it's continual, it's consistent. We use this word sustainable. And sometimes, honestly, like so many things we hear these days, you have to wonder if the people saying it have any sense at all as to what it means. And we perhaps are so disrespectful to the service and the sacrifice of our parents and their parents and what they've done. That's sustainable. That's why we have the success that we have today, because they were willing to make the sacrifice. But what are we doing now? We're playing games. We got young upstarts who have no sense. Not only are they wet behind the ears, but as what they were told, look at him, can't even beat himself out of a wet paper bag. And yet we put them in charge, and we don't chastise them, not with a switch, but with a sense of instruction. And then we bring some two-bit, no good, no use, little thing from somewhere, and they build and erect these edifices that destroy, buildings and walls and places and spaces and people that meant something, but we talk about it privately and we do nothing to correct it. Whether it's a gated community, or whether it's a building or a tree or a wall or a fence, that does nothing, other than to inflame the sensibilities of those who did something to make it different. But worse, it deprives future generations of something that they can look to be encouraged, to be inspired, and through them to be able to recognize the success. Now, we are reminded often, whether you go to church on a Wednesday, or Saturday, or Sunday, whether there's a Bible study in your house or at the pastor's, or like some of us, nicely under a tree somewhere. We hear it, we repeat it, and sometimes actually we try to, aspire to it. To whom much is given, much is required. But we also know that for many, when the metal meets the road, they're the first to run and hide and cover. Because if it means that they're going to be deprived of some award, the possibility of some financial gain, or the fact that they're going to have to sweat and do a little work, no, that's not for them. Well, time comes that it should be. So, let's see if the phones are working. Let's see who wants to take me to task. 949-8037, 949-6990. Something that, for whatever reason, I can't tell you that I know why, but maybe there's, given the nature of science these days, another word that probably has been misused. Try it this way, manually dial it slowly. 1-800-534-8255. Now, I'm not saying that to be facetious in any which way, but honestly, I have the number stored in my phone, and I just pick it up and press it, and boop, it goes through. And it doesn't go through. Then if I dial it slowly, it actually works. I can't tell you why. So try that. And at the end of the day, we got to raise the bar, because if we don't do that, what is it that you've heard often as well? Dog eat your supper? Alright, it's a Friday. Monday is not a holiday, but no day should be a day without constructive and productive work and input. And the more we complain and the less we're willing to champion, the more that we will see that, time waits for no man, and we are the losers as a result of our inaction. we fail to appreciate that we can lie by both omission and commission. Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon, thanks for calling.
Afternoon to you, Sterling Bean.
Good afternoon, sir. Could I...
Your voice is very, it sounds like there's a lot of static on the line with your voice. I don't know if you can hear me.
Thank you for telling us that. I can hear you clearly.
I could hear Miss Susan when she answered.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what that is.
Easily, plainly, but you are very muffled. You're very,
Jeez. Okay, can I ask you...
Static.
Yes, sir. Can I ask you, that muffled static sound, is that while you're listening on the phone?
Yeah, I only listen on the phone.
Okay. And do you know if you...
on the radio before you're coming quite clear.
Okay. We're going to try something when Miss Susan wants. We'll change the mic.
Comments to make.
Yes, sir. I'm going to listen to you.
I barely understand what you're saying.
All right, let me try...
Now that I'm on the phone with you.
Wow, that's not good. Okay.
But, yeah, that's all. It's good to hear that young lady, what she had. I heard some of it, and all that, and that's very interesting to know. I don't know if you can hear me any longer.
I can still hear you. Are you hearing me any better now, sir?
No, not
Is it better or worse?
I can understand what you're saying, but it's very, high static with it. This morning, I think it was, for the record with Mr. O.C., Dr. Steve McPhee was explaining some things about that case where the young man was, that took it to the Court of Appeal and Privy Council and so forth, Grand Court and everything, and went to the Privy Council and met here. And they were quoting what it actually fell under was some colonial law, penal law from 1884. One thing is this, it's important, I guess, for us, or maybe not.
Yes, sir.
For me, at that time, and up until when Great Britain abolished the death penalty, and the other countries have, there are certain of the Commonwealth countries now independent still have a death penalty. And they had corporal punishment. I know some people might not know what corporal punishment is.
Yes, sir. Sorry, Mr. Mickey. Mr. Mickey, before you continue, can you hear me any better now, sir?
No, I'm not hearing you.
Wow. Okay. Well, we've tried a few things there. Thank you, though. But I can hear you for what it's worth. Okay.
And they had capital punishment also. So it would be necessary for us to consider those two entities. And many countries that we talk about now still have corporal punishment along with capital punishment. Many of the first-class countries, or what we might say first class or whatever, they don't have corporal punishment anymore, but they still have capital punishment. And I'm going to tell you this, it made a difference in the countries when they had corporal punishment for heinous crimes. Believe me, you never had the amount of violence in those countries that you have now when they abandoned that. And I'm sure you do know what corporal punishment is, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, you can tell the public. And then, there were floggings for certain crimes. Serious floggings for certain crimes. And it deterred those who are going to commit those crimes. Anyone can check back. You don't have to believe me on this. In those countries around the Caribbean. Let's focus on that. And we talk about Singapore and all that with a very, very low crime rate for a country that does a lot of business and so forth. But they have capital and corporal punishment. Mm-hmm. It makes a big difference when we talk about these things. Many people who would take cases now to Privy Council or for serious crimes they committed might not have been alive to do that because they could have been executed and so forth. Life is really what we make it. Of course, the good Lord grants us a certain amount of days, and we have to owe it to the good Lord to be alive each and every day. But the thing is, we have to make decisions,
right?
That of what set our path on life, and choices we make. Choices. There's a country song like that with choices. And this is the thing. Most of us in life will make some bad choices. In fact, all of us will make wrong choices at some time. And most of the time we make the right ones, right? Not all of us are going to end up rich or even wealthy or well off or whatever. But we make choices, and we have to be thankful and comfortable with certain things. Cayman's problem, as I see it now, for Caymanians, because I'm talking about for Caymanians, our problem was greed, unadulterated, unfettered greed. And that's what has caused our problems economically and socially today.
But can we address that, sir?
And it's getting worse. It will. But anyway, you all have a very good day. And thankfully, young people will come up with some ideas and so forth. But we can't have a plastic-free Cayman. We'd have no cars on the road. They're mostly all plastic, and the phones we use are plastic. So we can say limited plastic or something like that.
Yes, sir.
Cayman, you got to throw your garbage into a plastic bag anyhow. You're not going to put it in a paper bag to put it in the dump.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just looking at a green iguana. Good thing he survived climbing up a fence. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too,
God bless
sir.
him.
Thank you
The
too.
wrong color, but he's still surviving. The wrong color. That's all. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful day.
All right, you too, sir. You too. And to those who are listening, again, like the gentleman Mr. Wicked just referenced, let us know if you hear us okay through the radio. He did share he wasn't able to hear us properly on the phone. You know what? Persistence and perseverance pays off, but sometimes we are too willing to reward mediocrity, and we allow people, to skate by. And then we see the diligence of many, and we don't recognize that they are trying their endeavor best. So let's get it right. Let's get it right for now and forever, so that there are too many things that go unrecognized, too many things that go unsanctioned. There are too many things, where we turn a blind eye. Or we keep talking about more laws, but is there sufficient enforcement of the laws, as some have shared? We talk about the need to do something, but we ask ourselves, well, what about us? What is it that we've heard often? Perhaps so much so now that we've probably forgotten it. If not now, when? If not me, who? What are we doing, and how are we doing it together? Are we trying to build a stronger, better place that is safe, secure, civil, that the prosperity is something that is shared by many, not equally, and perhaps when we look at it, equal and fair, they're different. You should have a chance at success. Take students going into a math exam, for instance. They all study, and it's not just the aptitude and ability, but if they all have a chance to sit the exam, it's not denied to them because of where they live or where they're from, who they're for, how much money they have, whether they're this color or that color or this ethnicity, whether they're male or female. And I'm just going to limit it to that because, simply, there may be other ways to describe people, but just on those grounds alone, if it's none of that, they go in, but one just had a better day. Very much like the football team. It's not always the best team that wins. It's the team that plays the best at that game at that time. Taking all of the factors and having them remain constant, the team that plays the best that day may be the team that wins. What causes that? Well, preparation, perhaps the foods they've eaten, perhaps how they respond to the weather conditions, to the roar of the crowd, perhaps, the mindset of the individual, all sorts of things, All right. One of our listeners has a message to ask, and this is what the message says. Good evening, Radio Cayman. I was wondering if you had any idea whether there are any plans to improve Faith Hospital. That's the hospital on the back. We'll read it. Maybe there's an answer that will come from official, proper channels. Perhaps the question is because the community is cognizant either of something afoot or the need for something to transpire. But like that question, we perhaps should ask other questions about other things and demand the things are done for the betterment of those, that's intended to benefit now and in the future. All right, we're going to pause. We're going to take a break shortly. The phone lines are going to remain open. We're going to invite you to call and share and to challenge the things that have been said publicly, even here, even now, to champion the things that have been said publicly, even here and even now. But to ensure that through a meaningful discussion and discourse that we hold others accountable as we ourselves are prepared to not only be accountable, but to accept responsibility for the things we do, to acknowledge the things that we're not doing, or to even look and realize that some of the things that we are doing, we're not doing them to the best of our ability. Now, you can't do any better than you can. But again, like the football team, you don't want to take to the pitch and play half-heartedly. The fans demand, better than that. Not because they paid money to come in, but because they took their time. Now, even, the fans that may be cheering for the other team, if they know that you were a worthy opponent and you gave your all and you still didn't win, they would admire, acknowledge, and appreciate that you were a worthy opponent. And even if you beat their team, those fans would say, you know what, I wish we had won, but boy, that team really played. Look at that keeper, made some great saves, man, and that defense and that, right? Because it was for the love of the sport. But if you come out like many of us, half-heartedly, with a sense of contempt, well, what do you expect? And then if you are in a position of authority, either to identify through, the title that you have or the uniform that you wear, and you act with such arrogance and a lack of humility, that's a bad example. And I say it this way, even this lunchtime, the old people will remind us, how does it go, Miss Susan? You spit in the sky, you fall on your face? Trust me, very true. You might not think it's appropriate to say at any time publicly, but I think it's something you really need to remember. All right, let's pause and take the break. Dial it up and see if it works for you. Tell us if it's clear as you can hear it, and share your thoughts, because at the end of the day, if you don't have the courage to stand and speak, people are going to push you to the margin, and one day you're going to wake up and realize, it was all for naught because you didn't do your part. Stay tuned for Talk Today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
J and Money touching down again. Now you can send your US dollars at any location on island, including the BRAC. It's easy. Just walk with your US dollars. No need to convert to CI. This is another convenient service available at J and Money. They always find a way to make it easier and hassle-free. So remember, when you need to send your money and you only have US dollars, don't ever think of what to do. Just head straight to any J and Money location and send your money the fast, convenient, and affordable J and Money. J and Money, touching down again. J and Money, ranga to la friend.
Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Bodden Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Attention passengers, the Cayman Airways Panama airfare sale has been extended. In just under 2 hours aboard Cayman Airways, you can explore UNESCO World Heritage Sites and the 8th wonder of the modern world, all within driving distance of a cosmopolitan city. Hurry, book by March 12th to get Panama airfares on sale from just $296 CI round trip. Some conditions apply. Call 949-2311 or visit CaymanAirways.com to book your Panama getaway.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back. Thank you for joining us. And as we go to the phones, good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for calling.
Sterling.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, okay, but a lot of noise. I don't think we can hold this conversation.
Okay, so I'm just going to ask. You're not hearing me well, right? It's static and the like.
I can't understand what you're saying.
Okay.
Let me hold 1 second. Let me disconnect the phone and see what the difference is.
No. All right. We have another call, I think, but can someone let us know if when we can hear the caller, if you're listening to us on the radio, can you hear us clearly? That's what I want to know, because I'll tell you what I'm thinking. But is another caller on, Miss Susan? All right. Good afternoon. Welcome. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Sterling. Good afternoon. Number 2 from New Kingston.
You know, there's a part of me that won't give you an answer, but I'll wait and see. All right. Before you continue, I want to ask 2 questions. Can you hear us okay on the phone?
Okay, I hear you perfect when I'm on hold.
Okay.
But now that we're connected, there is it's like a gravelly sound to your voice. It's like you're down in a hole or like you're talking through a walkie-talkie.
Okay, and we've got callers waiting in to say they're listening on the radio and it's clear. So I just want to ask you, if you were listening on the radio as you were listening on hold, is it clear, audible, you can hear us okay?
It's clear coming through on the radio.
Why?
And when you answer our call and put us on hold,
okay.
We hear you clear, and we hear the caller that's calling in too clear. But
okay.
Now how I'm hearing you now, it sounds like you're on a walkie-talkie, you're breaking up and it's staticky.
All right, thank you for that, and I do apologize for that. I'm grateful but we can hear you perfectly. And to all of our listeners who are thankfully at least being able to hear us clearly on the radio, that's good. We're sorry. The issue is here. I hope we get it fixed soon. But go ahead and talk if you wish, and we will do our best not to interject.
Anyways, I was just making that comment in honor of our friend, Mr. Dolan Hutter, whom we all loved and treasured. I'll take up the mantle for him now that he's passed away. Anyhow, I just wanted to, bring a few things out in the open that I think needs to get investigated, checked, and retweet. First of all, if you're trying to get a police report to get your passport replaced, in order for you to get your voter's card replaced because it all got burned up in a fire, everything you own, copies of everything you had, all got burned up in a fire. It's impossible for you to produce that documentation when you're applying for and paying for the police report online. So I need the ministry responsible for that to please tweak that and fix that, because it was like a pulling my tooth out with a toothpick when I was trying to acquire that for my mom the other day, and eventually it broke down with the fact that they had to accept her birth certificate and a scanned copy of a photo that we have for her passport that we we have for the new passport. So it seems like they have these systems in place, Sterling, but they're not looking at it from all the different points of view of if this occurred, if that occurred, how do we deal with it? How do we fix it? How do we correct it? How do we make it easier for senior citizens in a desperate, dire situation? That's my point. Hello?
Yes, ma'am. No, I just didn't want to interject too much because you did say, but I did hear you clearly. And but how would that? Can you hear me okay still?
Sorry, the what?
Yes. How do you have a conversation when someone is listening or they can't hear what you're saying? Are you hearing me okay, ma'am?
Okay, I took you off of.
Okay. There you go. But I was going to ask you if you're able to hear. How do we address that then? Because we want to make it easy for people to be able to do the things that they need to do, understanding what they need to do.
I think that we need to have some sort of section on that online setup there that asks you questions to say, give samples of reasons for why you're needing this police report, and then it can take you into a totally different screen with a less complicated way of obtaining that report, especially in those kinds of situations. First of all, when there's a fire, that report is recorded with the police department. That should automatically be sent to records so they have an idea, okay, well, this house burnt down at this location. Here are the names of the people that resided at that home. It's quite possible that their passports and their driver's licenses and their voters' cards, everything has been, burned up and gone with the home. It's a possibility. They may not have been in the home at the time, may have some of those documents on them, but even so, it should be given some sort of a separate sort of section to deal with that. And the police, I think a lot of these situations, we should be interlinked at some point, even in a read-only situation. Even if you're the police trying to find out if somebody got a passport, you can look into the passport division and see, oh yeah, they have a valid passport, but, they can't do anything. They can't manipulate the information in there. It's just to look and see if it's accurate or whatever. That could be the same situation here in instances with police reports being filed about house fires and, loss of everything, blah, 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 blah. Especially when elderly people are involved. A lot of elderly people are not internet savvy, and we're creating all these online portals, and we're forgetting about the senior citizens, the elderly who don't know how to utilize these services, and where is the backup for them? If there's not an individual that's caring for them that can assist them, individually, I had to argue profusely until they accepted the birth certificate and the photo of my mother. I mean, I was put on hold constantly. I had to keep calling back, and it was just a very long, drawn-out, draconian, I don't know what else to call it, rigmarole that I went through. I'm not trying to constantly downgrade our services, but by goodness, the least they could do is think about the elderly when they're putting all these online platforms on, that they're going to have to get information from or utilize at some point, and take into account elderly people. They can't utilize it. Tick a box. We'll come out to see you at 12:05, March the 23rd. If that time isn't convenient for you, please let us know, or we will call you to confirm a time that we can come out and assist you with this paperwork. That's being Cayman kind and being friendly to our elderly and giving them the proper assistance if they don't have an individual to assist them. You know how many people in the BRAC tell me they give up on things because they don't know how to do it. They say, got to do it online, and they got to do that, and they got to do this, and they're not computer friendly, they're not internet friendly, they don't know how to utilize these online platforms. This is where we come into the Cayman kind now. We create the backup for that situation.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me?
Deal with that. There are some systems overseas where your bank will come to your house and take your deposit.
Yeah. But
I'm not saying that we need to go that extreme, come do your banking, but if you need help getting certain things fulfilled, certain documents to be produced, you can't get around as you used to, but you need these things.
Yeah. Are you able to hear me? Okay, or a little better?
If I'm what?
Are
Sorry.
you? No, I guess that answers that. I was asking if you were able to hear me.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Okay, not to worry, not to worry. All right. Yeah, but you keep talking.
Anyway, that's all I really wanted to address today, because I know we're trying to modernize our government, and I'm all for that. I'll never, ever condemn that or complain about it. But by goodness, tweak it, debug it before you launch it. One of the worst platforms right now to work with is the one called Work. Horrible, draconian. It is so non-user friendly. It's pathetic. You post an ad up there as a business owner, Sterling, you try go and find it again. Go find it again. It gets lost somewhere. And the only people that know how to help you find it are those that work in the back office of Work. And if you can find someone, or they'll answer their phone or respond to your email, you're lucky. And I'm not talking about the Cayman back office. I ain't got nothing to say bad about them. I'm talking about the Grand Cayman Work. There's nobody there to guide you there. If you lose an ad, you trying to get the number back. It was approved, and you're trying to find a number back to do it. You can't. Or if you want to renew your ads that you've been running repeatedly, keep renewing and update, you can't find them back. They're lost forever. In, I don't know, La La Land, I don't know. It needs to be a much better user-friendly platform, and they're coming out now that all jobs got to be advertised. Well, that's not a problem for me. Carrie advertises every job she needs to fill. She puts every ad up there, temporary or full, so it doesn't matter. That don't bother me, but it's going to bother a lot of business owners and micro business owners who are not friendly with how to utilize that platform. And one thing I must give them a little credit for, I think it was before COVID, we were all locked up. They came out with a replacement platform for it, Dwayne. A brand new online portal they were going to upload. What happened to that? Because that was a lot more user-friendly, and you could find things and you could navigate it better than the one they have now. So that's what I'm trying to say. Load that system up. Tweak it. They must have tweaked it by now and got all the bugs out of it. Exchange it, put that one in place, and let people will be able to use that who are not even very friendly, computer literate would be able to use that. It was a very good platform that they came out with. I remember Mr. Jarmus Scott inviting me there to they were doing like a little seminar on it and showing you, making you try it out. Those of us agencies and stuff that utilize the Work services, and it was perfect. They just had a couple little things to get the bugs out of. Launch that one. That needs to be up there. Put that up there for April 1st. Anyways.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Sterling. All the best from the BRAC to you and Susie Q. Take care.
Thank you very much. And as we go into the break, we'll take the call after, but two messages quickly. Says, I completely agree with this caller. And then the one prior says, amen, and a big, big amen, Miss Carey. God's blessings be with you. I am 70 years old and don't know one thing about online. So let's pause, and then we'll join the other caller right after.
Busy, busy, busy. Feel like there's not just enough hours in the day. Savannah Pharmacy, service to make your life easier. Now you can WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. And pickup is just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours including Sundays and holidays. WhatsApp your prescription order to 929-5045. Savannah Pharmacy, wholesome values with modern conveniences.
They say variety is the spice of life. And that's why at Subway, we're introducing the new Boneless Hot Sub.
Say what?
The premium sub brings new ingredients like spicy breaded boneless chicken, French's crispy fried onions, and buffalo wing sauce, bringing a zesty and flavorful experience with every bite. Add some of your favorite veggies, cheese, and ranch sauce of your choice of freshly baked bread for the ultimate boneless hot sub. For a little spice in your life, try the new boneless hot sub from Subway.
So good and tasty.
And make it a meal with a drink and chips or cookies. Subway. Eat fresh.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Dwayne Porter will be taking appointments from March 6th through 11th at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic skin enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.portercayman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointments today. That is 946-9020.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? No, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Brit K. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
Cayman Brac residents, on Saturday, 11th of March, come out to the Aston Rudder Center and show your support for our students as they show off their performing talents at the National Children's Festival of the Arts final concert. The show starts at 7 p.m. and gates open at 6:30 p.m. Admission is $5 for adults and $2 for children. Refreshments will be on sale. For more information, please call Miss Tammy Hopkins at 916-6287. Brought to you by the Department of Education Services.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Come back. Thank you very much for joining us. It's open line. We have a call. Let's go to the phones. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Are you speaking to me?
I hope you're able to hear me. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon, Dwayne. Nice to have seen you yesterday. But I called to say to that lady when they say, what about the seniors? Everybody's forgetting us, the seniors. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know to do things online at all. And nobody is recognizing you. No place is having a line for seniors to help us more, you know. When you go to pay your phone bill or something, you're in line there until you feel like you're going to drop down. And they have the space for a line that says seniors, you know. And everywhere you call, they say go online. The only thing I know to do online is hang clothes. I don't know to do anything online. But nobody's thinking about us. You try to order food, or you have to go online. and you have to order like three different foods to get it delivered. You know, all Cayman is developing. I'm here 50 years now. But they're not thinking about the seniors, you know. Nobody's thinking about the seniors. Everything they're telling us to go online, or you need to have 15 children to have them go online for you or something, you know. Somebody's got to think of us. I am now 75. I came here at 24. So, you know, nobody's thinking about the seniors, you know.
Well, you are certainly, you know, reminding us of the importance of ensuring that level of access. Are you able to hear me okay, Mom?
And at least they could give us a phone number and telling us all things to go online. You know, they would also do more business if they could give us a phone number to order stuff or to speak to a human being, you know. So thank you very much, Dwayne.
Thank you too. And it was certainly good to see you yesterday, and for what it's worth, I did enjoy the chocolate today.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you on the phone. It's very staticky.
But God's willing, by Monday we'll have that fixed. But thank you very much for that, Mom. And we are able to hear you when you call. We do apologize that you're having a challenge hearing us. Thankfully, you can hear us over the radio or whatever device you're listening. It will be fixed by Monday. That's the commitment here. We have a diligent team who are, you know, seriously working to ensure that it works. So it's going to be fixed. And now soon come, it's going to be fixed now. 949-8837, 949-6990. Call and share your thoughts. We'll do our best to listen attentively, intently, and ensuring that you have access. Now, to the callers before who were talking about, why is it everything online? Well, there's some of us who don't like that. It's not a question of whether we are internet savvy or other. It's the fact that it's a preference. So why can't that exist? We're concerned about, artificial intelligence, the robots are coming and going to take over. But if we make it easier and accept it that that's going to be the process only and always, how many times have you been frustrated? You call and it says, to speak to this, press 1. And for that, press, and constantly you're pressing numbers, but you never get anybody. Well, it would be nice to be able to call somebody. Go to the phones. Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, good afternoon, Dwayne.
Hey, how are you?
Man, if I know this how you sound, I would have rather stay under my tree while looking at my bottlers, man. You sound rough, but anyway, Susan explain it to me, done.
Okay, well, she did tell you that we can hear you, so you talk and I'll do my best to listen.
Yeah, man, I'm a patient man, so I ride jackass and I ride horse.
Boy, I see a catboat, not a speedboat.
Yeah, well, yeah. All right, boy. Just want to back up what Miss Carey was saying there regarding the loss of information and stuff like that in the government system. That has not just occurred. That has always been, and it will always be a problem because when it comes to senior citizens, it is something that always touched me because it seems like the senior citizens has always been forgotten, period. They remember government and the rest remember senior citizens only in one due time, and that's during an election. Otherwise, them people are not being seen. They don't be regarded as anything, whether it becomes of a retirement of anything, because I spoke to many of the elderly, and what they live on can't support them, basically, because of the infrastructure or in the influction rate of power, of the food. They don't have to worry about gas because they don't drive it much and go anywhere. But they have been forgotten many, many, many moons ago. And I can remember speaking to one gentleman one time who used to work for Public Works Department, and they couldn't find no information on when he started to work. So as the retirement came into place, he didn't get nothing from so long back, from down in the 60s or 70s, because the problem is the government departments that they work for do not store files of such. When they came into the system with the computer system, the files that was laid in cabinets all their life because of typewriter and pen and paper was not implemented on the computer system, and they cannot find these files, and that is what happens when people between life and death, and in this situation with her mother with the fire, they're not going to find information in them system because they did not transport or they did not transfer the forms from files to the computer system, and that is what causing the problem. And they will continue to have this issue because the senior citizens, they just say, well, okay, they're being taken care of by social service. Social services has all the information. We don't need to store that district admin or whichever government office. And that is what creates this problem, Sterling. And until they realize that they need to get all information up to date, because I do not understand how they sit down and can go to these people during election and get them to vote, but they want to make sure that the information from medical purposes or any other purposes are up to date and up to standard. I just don't get that.
And it's going to be challenging, but can you hear me? No.
Sorry?
Okay, yeah, it's going to be challenging to respond to you, to engage. Anyway, you talk. I'll try to listen.
Yeah, the part with that you were speaking about with the hospital, I heard somebody writing about the hospital. Someone mentioned, and I'm not gonna say nothing too much regarding that, but I think the problem is why we are being checked on that is, and I got to be careful talking about it because I really don't want to step on no one's toes regarding that, but there is tweaks on that hospital system that could be changed and could be updated. And there's a lot of, especially the elderly, that has complaints about the place because of certain criteria of that department. But it I don't know how to even mention anything on that, Sterling, because that is what we rely on, and it's sad to know that we got come to a point where these things need to be looked into and radically changed immediately, not later. A medical institution like that needs updating, and it needed fast. It don't need it next year. It needed this year.
All right. With the news, Loman, and to the caller, sorry that we are not able to directly engage as we normally would, but thank you for that. Let's take our news, and we take our calls. We're going to hear you. Stay tuned.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
With your latest headlines, I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins. The match MSD 24 between Boddentown FC and Scholars ISC scheduled for today, Friday, has been postponed to a further date due to the viewing service for the passing of BTFC coach Albert McLean's mother. In international news, reports from the Mexican border city of Matamoros say a splinter group of the Gulf cartel called the Scorpions Group has apologized for kidnapping 4 U.S. citizens last week, killing 2 of them, and has turned over the men it says are responsible. A letter from the Scorpions Group was allegedly left with the men, which apologized to the people of Matamoros, to the U.S. victims and their families, and to a Mexican woman killed last week when the gang fired on a white minivan the Americans were traveling in. Actress Sharon Stone says one of her most famous roles caused her to lose custody of her son in 2004. Her famous flash in the 1992 Basic Instinct warped perceptions of her, Stone said on a podcast. Stone recalled the judge asking her 4-year-old son, "Do you know your mother makes sex movies?" Backlash from the scene where she briefly exposes herself while crossing her legs has made her avoid similar roles, she says. Stone and her then-husband adopted their son Rowan in 2000, but when the couple divorced in 2004, the judge awarded custody to her ex-husband. These are your headlines. I'm Felicia Rankin-Solins.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice.
Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Ro Variety, centrally located in Tropical Plaza on Smith Road, carrying a wide range of household items, bathroom accessories, towels, clocks, handbags, clothes, shoes, jewelry, and more, and more, and more. You can buy from the big box retailers or support local. The better deals come from shopping local. Ro Variety Store, Tropical Plaza, Smith Road. Telephone 924-9553.
Between the traffic, the meetings, kids' activities, there just isn't enough time. Best Health Pharmacy was a game changer. Not only are they centrally located on Eastern Avenue, but they deliver prescriptions for free anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. I could not believe it. When my prescription ran out, they ran it back to me. Best Health Pharmacy, located at Crown Square Plaza on Eastern Avenue, across from Edie's Decor, offering free prescription delivery anywhere in Georgetown and West Bay. Call 949-1301 or WhatsApp your prescription to 924-5358. Best Health Pharmacy. Your health, your convenience is their priority.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners' participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks for calling us. Thanks for sharing. And again, I'm so grateful that we have dynamic, leadership here through Miss Norma and Miss Paulette. I don't believe that it's inappropriate to say that they are fantastic, managers. We have a wonderful team. If Miss Susan doesn't mind the public acknowledgement, she's diligently, liaising with our internet and, service provider and say, hey, guys, we got an issue here. Let's fix it up. Or engineer is, come on, man, let's get this thing fixed because we want you all to be able to hear us. I'm thankful that they're trying to help me stay out of trouble. And so, I appreciate their guidance, but we want you guys to know that we value you. We want to provide this platform because it is funded by our collective taxpayers' funds. So you have the opportunities in the mornings to engage in a Business Buzz program, to talk to Mr. Art for the record, to come and talk to in the lunchtime session. And it's not about us as the host. It's about us facilitating that dialogue to ensure that we have that democracy and that you can call and you can say, hey, you know what you said? I agree with that. Or you may say, nope, you're off base. We have that healthy interaction and exchange. And that can only happen. I have some friends who would joke and say, boy, my wife is so glad that when I'm away because she can talk and I'll be interrupting her. But we don't want that. We want you to talk so we can ask questions and you can, get us. So for now, for the 25 minutes and 6 seconds remaining in the show, send a voice note if you can, if you want to share. If you're okay with calling and not having, us sort of respond, do that. We're glad that you can hear us as you're listening through your devices. We're sorry that it's still a bit of my words, repeating what the callers say, crackling, muffling, sound like you're in a hole. Hey, listen, this is why the technology is a great thing as a servant, but not as a master, as the many callers, as well as the messages have shared. Hey, it's great that we can go online, but we want to be able to talk to somebody, not just to complain, but to ask a question. And it's not that we have to look at these. We have to work together. I don't know. What do we do? What do we say? Reading this message and trying to type and to talk just shows that don't pretend that you can multitask. There might be a time when you thought you could do it. Nowadays, I know. Let me give you my undivided attention. All right. 949-8037, 949-6990, toll free, 1-800-534-8255. I can say without fair contradiction that our team will diligently, be tasked to ensure that this thing is addressed. So come, Monday morning, it's fixed so that come Monday afternoon, it's even working as well. I don't know. It's what it is. And reading this message from one of our listeners who has said that we need to do more, to make sure that what is happening is going to be something for all of us to be able to appreciate where we are. Say again, Miss Wu. Let's go to the phones. Welcome, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Sterling.
Good afternoon. Can you hear me okay?
I can kind of hear you. I'm pretty sure I can understand what the muffling is about.
I will try, but I will listen to you. I am paying attention, okay? Me not responding isn't because I'm not listening, okay?
Yes, sir, no problem.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Well, okay, what I wanted to talk about, right, is this the whole stigma about the marijuana as well today, because I was listening in a little bit onto what the premier was talking about, and I completely understand their perspective. And I said their perspective because I know it's a group of individuals that support it. But when they come into the bill by them wanting to decriminalize the marijuana, I have a lot of concerns about that, because just like how they are going to put on the national identification, I still have concerns with the national identifications as well. It's none of my problem, but I still do have concern if it becomes an option that we have to go by. The thing is with the marijuana, I do not like the idea of the decriminalization. Reason being is because it does kind of get into the personal business of a person, of an individual. Like, if it was to be that it's legal, for instance, I don't have to worry about a police being called to come and arrest me because I'm smoking ganja inside of my yard. And next, I do not feel comfortable with the fact that if they decriminalize it for a small quantity, how am I going to obtain this small quantity? They still haven't came up clear saying who is going to be the supplier of this product. But not only just that, we worried about the cleaning of people's police records. If they legalize ganja, you don't have to worry about those things. But I think that the situation about legalization and decriminalization is being confused by others to be convinced that if they even decriminalize it, it's going to be okay. Like, you're allowed to smoke it or you're allowed to use it in your own purposes. But how am I going to get it? Now, is that like a borderline permission to go and purchase it from people that have small quantities? Or is it that they're going to allow us to just obtain it by so many means? I don't know how, but just saying, you know, they haven't described it yet. What is their main mission with the decriminalization? I only understand the cleaning of the police record.
Maybe that's going to be a discussion that we'll have more before there is a referendum question drafted.
Well, you know, the way how I hear it going on is in favor of people that just don't like how it smells, or they just don't like how people use it. For example, if I am smoking in my yard and the breeze is blowing in our northwest and you're in my northwest, then if that's the case, tell me so that I can know that it's disturbing your nostrils, so that I can go on the other side of the building where it's not blowing your direction. I'll enjoy my time, because if I'm drinking alcohol and I can smell the alcohol through my breath, you can smell the alcohol through my breath. If that disturbs you, you're going to tell me to at least move a little distance because I don't like the smell of the alcohol, or you're going to just sit down there and just admire it.
Is there a need now for more discussion before we go to referendum? Okay, see, this is where it's challenged. Caller, go ahead, man. We're listening. All right. Well, thanks very much for that, and I appreciate the others. And the phone lines are open. Here is a question, and you know, it's something I think that we should recognize, and it's probably easier sometimes to point fingers, and sometimes it may be justifiable. You know, that person has been appointed or delegated to be responsible for this thing. All right, we'll talk about that in a second. But there's another thing to, you know, point fingers to blame as opposed to pointing fingers to help to exclaim and then to acknowledge. But let's take this call. Welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sterling. How are you today, sir?
I am very healthy, and thank God for His mercies, man. How are you?
I'm calling you through my phone, but I can't. It's very muffled, but at least you can hear what I got to say. I guess you remembered last week I called in concerning those little things that you put one foot on and the other foot you push on the sidewalks. And I don't know if you remembered what I said. I don't think that they were licensed or anything, and if somebody hit them and kill them, then that deal is done. And also some little matchboxes that I see with a tall stick up there with a little flag. I just passed another one. There is a blue one, and I think it's a green one. I just saw them two people sitting in it with their helmets and thing on.
Look like a child's toy.
I would like, sir, if you can get someone that knows the law, the traffic law, from the police department, because all of them know it, don't seem like. and make them come on your show and explain to you what about this, because I don't think that they can get insured. I don't know. I could be wrong, because money talks in this island. But anyhow, it is dangerous, and I said somebody would have got killed. These are the words that I said. Somebody going to soon get killed. And here it goes. You see the accident down on West Bay Road? The same thing that I said. People are pushing these things 1 foot on and 1 foot off and stuff on the sidewalks and thing, and a little bump on the sidewalk, then they drop off. I almost hit one a few days ago going up to the east there, up in the Red Bay area. And I see the two little matchbox cars again, because they look like Cracker Jack. I just passed one of them again. So I want you, if you can bring someone from the police department to explain, are they licensed? Are they insured? That is my question. Thank you very much. I predicted that someone was going to soon get killed, and it wasn't a week, and it happened. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for sharing that, and let's pause and take the break.
A caring and community spirit, cherished family and cultural values. These are some of the things that still embodies the Caymanian way of life in the Eastern Districts today. Savannah Pharmacy, your neighborhood pharmacy, located in Countryside Shopping Village, is delighted to offer products and services of real value. Whether it's catering to your family's medical needs or carrying apparel, gifts, and beauty products, Savannah Pharmacy provides you with more than just prescriptions. Remember, they're always just around the corner with everything your family needs and convenient opening hours, including Sundays and holidays. Savannah Pharmacy. For more information, call 946-3336.
From boat days to beach gatherings, leave the catering to Subway. Choose from small and large sandwich platters, double meat wrap platters, and top it off with optional cookie platters for dessert. Or ask about our Subway box to go with the option of 6-inch or foot-long sandwich, 1 cookie, and 1 bag of chips for all occasions and celebrations. Let Subway focus on the food so you can focus on the fun. Visit subway.ky for catering options. Subway. Eat fresh.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
For medical lab services in Cayman, go straight to MedLab.
For a full range of medical services, pleasant, clean and comfortable environment, no long lines and affordable fees, visit MedLab at the Smith Road Plaza. Open Monday to Friday, 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. and half day on Saturdays. Call 949-7331 to make your appointment.
For medical lab services in Cayman, MedLab.
Radio Cayman News.
A politician has been arrested this morning and formally charged with 2 counts each of indecent assault and common assault.
The charges stem from an incident which happened at a formal event at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel back in September.
Mayor the Honourable Wayne Panton says the charges laid today against long-serving independent MP Mr. McKeeva Bush are serious and concerning.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice for today's biggest news.
In order to facilitate pipeline improvement works in the area, Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise motorists and other road users that eastbound traffic along North Sound Road between Kingbird Drive and David Foster Drive will be diverted along Redgate Road, and northbound traffic along David Foster Drive between Scotts Bacadere and North Sound Road will be diverted along Old Joe's Way on Sunday 12th March from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. During this time, local access only to businesses and residences in the area will be available, and flagmen will be on hand to direct local access traffic. Traffic signs will be posted in the general vicinity, and all motorists are asked to drive with caution to ensure their own safety as well as that of the Water Authority staff. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of the motoring public and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Talk today. But I do have some questions. Talk today.
Cayman Islands' foremost listeners participation program.
Talk today.
Because there are more questions than answers.
What the public is saying.
Waiting to take your calls right now. Sterling Dwayne Ebanks.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome back, and thanks, for your participation. And again, we can hear you. We apologize you can't hear us. So, if you'd forgive us for just listening and not responding, as we take the last of the calls, we got 3 calls. We want to get each one there, so no more, But quickly, one of our listeners has asked a question. So it was in the news, a while back about the representative in the UK spending Cayman funds and sponsoring the child's team. I haven't heard anything more about it, and wondering what's happening with him and what steps, if any, the government is taking towards him. All right, that's a question from a listener, but let's take this call. Welcome, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I want to respond to one of your previous callers talking about the decriminalization, the proposal to decriminalize cannabis. He said that nothing is being said about where would you obtain it from. The reason for that is that decriminalization is not legalization. Decriminalization just changes the offense from being a criminal offense to being a civil offense, which means instead of you running the risk of going to prison for it, you would just be fined for it. But what one needs to understand is that in all circumstances, it's still illegal, meaning in the sense of just the average person possessing it. And so, if you want something different from that, you would need to participate in the process and explain what you would like to have. But from what I'm reading, the politicians are saying that they do not want to try to do anything more than decriminalization, which is just removing the criminal penalty. It is not saying that there are places that you would be able to go and buy it lawfully any more than you can currently do so at the moment. Now, one of the comments he made is that things seem to be going in the direction of those who don't want to smell it. And I remember, I think it was Mr. Can't remember his name. He was on your show. He's going to kill me for forgetting his name. Came on your show and he talked about decriminalization. And in his proposal, he was proposing that people be able to have it in small quantities for consumption. But again, in his proposal, he didn't say where it would come from either. And that is because they're approaching it from the perspective of just saying, well, what do we need to do in order to take away the criminal offense for its possession? And what you need, if you want to have access to it, is you need it to be legalized to some degree. What I support is, just as an example, you pick an age over which you think people should be able to have it. Let's say if you think that's 18 or 21 as an example, who should be able to have it lawfully, lawfully have possession of it for personal use. But I personally don't support smoking of cannabis. I support other methods of ingestion, which are non-smoking, because smoking is unhealthy. It will kill you. It will give you lung cancer in high probability. You won't get it the very next day after smoking, but if you do it enough, you will have negative effects on your health. And the truth of the matter is that you do not need to smoke it in order to get any medicinal benefits from it. That is not accurate. So there's, yes, need for lots of discussion about it, and I hope that your show would organize a show in which you can have a proper discussion about it. And what would be useful is, instead of following the tradition of just talking to one side, I think you should have all the sides sit at the table and have a proper discussion, instead of this nonsense of, I'm not going to sit at the table with that person because I don't like him foolishness. We need to grow up and be able to have mature conversation about difficult subjects. So I hope that helps the caller understand what the politicians are saying to him, and that if he feels differently, then he should encourage everyone to join the conversation and state their position on it.
All right. Thank you for that, sir. Thank you. And forgive me for not engaging you directly. Let's take the other call. Welcome. Good afternoon. Hello. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi. How are you? Hello. Good afternoon. Okay. And we will take all of the calls as we can connect. And again, thank you for participating and for your continued support and understanding. Hey, good afternoon. We can hear you. Apologies that you're not hearing us. Good afternoon. Maybe let me try it in my best Portuguese. No, I can't speak that. Hello, good afternoon. When you call, please know that we're hearing you, okay? Hello, good afternoon. All right. Maybe one more. Good afternoon. Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, man. Thank you for calling.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, I hear static, but I think I'll be able to hear you. But I would just like to say that I was very glad to read in the newspaper that a few individuals have been taken to court for blocking these beach access. I'm just hoping now that he'll give them the fine that they need, because they were warned over a period of time in order to take care of that situation, and they never did. And the fine is a very hefty fine if they give them the full amount. The people got to realize that these beach accesses are very important. You have our elderly people. You have people that might have problems physically. And then there might be an emergency. And the ambulance might need to use that beach access in order to save somebody's life. So for individuals to come here and to just block these beach accesses and ignore when the government warns them of the importance of having these beach accesses for people, and they continue to ignore these warnings, it's very disrespectful to me.
Yes.
Very disrespectful for individuals to even have to go that far to be taken to court. Thank you very much today.
All right. Thank you too. And that is the show for today. Thank you all for everything. Please let us know, whether it's in the wonderful music that we always play, if Susan doesn't mind, and I know when she's off, others do the same, that, praise and worship, that sense of a positive spirit that we start the day off before we, get into the news and the rest of the stuff. It brings us, a mellowed, appreciative spirit to some of the things that we report that doesn't always look, positively on our society. But if they're truthful, We need to acknowledge them in order to address them so they don't reoccur. Let us know what we can do, and I will only speak for myself, how to make our programming, our guests, our discussion more beneficial and meaningful to you. Let us know what we can do. Thank you for constantly stopping and sharing your thoughts. From day one, I honestly didn't always appreciate it at first, because you don't realize how you may be perceived, positive or negative, especially in the positive. So all of you who have stopped and shared something, you're not betraying confidences, you're not sharing state secrets, you're sharing things that sometimes you think everybody knows, and it's probably everybody know except those that shouldn't. Remember when vehicles were being dumped along the roads? Everybody saw it, but nobody did anything about it. Mr. Sims and his fantastic team at DH doing a diligent job. We're seeing the beautification folks as part of the committees constantly trying to ensure. I know other districts have it, but if I might share the fantastic ladies and a handful of gentlemen who assist in the West Bay beautification arm, Charlene and everybody else, they go out and they constantly do, from the grandmother with the grandchild and the intervening daughter to every single one. We have pride in this country. We want it to be a safe, loving, wonderful place that we've inherited, so that our children equally can share in that, security and stability and safety and the success that measures beyond, our bank accounts. But it's because we're working together. And I say this, and it's not to offend, but it doesn't mean that it might cause us to feel a way, as we say. But if you are in a position because you've been elected or appointed, if you wear a uniform, if you stand in front of a class because you're given, a lecture, or you have been hired to teach a subject, or you're volunteering to coach, or you're teaching Sunday school or Sabbath school, or you're leading Bible study, you're participating, make sure you come with your best game, with a sense and a willingness to do the best. And as we look at others and point fingers and chastise and castigate, let's also reflect on what we're doing. I don't intend ever to be better than you. I just want to be the best me. My goal isn't to be better than others, it's to be better than I was yesterday. I say this following a discussion earlier with some people. I may, like you, we tend to be our worst critics, but we got to continually raise the bar. Stop rewarding mediocrity. Start allowing, that person to take up space that they're not contributing. But let's also draw alongside them and support them. They're working tooth and nail. They're trying hard. Sometimes they're just doing the wrong thing, repeatedly thinking they're doing the right thing. They're doing something, but they're doing it the wrong way. And we know they can and should be doing it differently. That would be better. But what do? We say after they've done, boy, I could have told you so. It's too late then. You can't only ring the bell. What we need to do is to go to them and say, listen, this is how you do it better. It's more cost effective, more efficient, it's better, and we'd help them. But when that person comes to you and tries to tell you that, don't be so, allow me to say the word, bigoted, so arrogant that you're not listening to good counsel, because then you know better off. That person might say, you know what, last time I tried to show you this, you can't hear, you can feel. Well, I'm speaking to my people, and if you don't like the colloquial jargon, let me explain it to you differently. See, my father, to me is a great man, not because he has a PhD or he has a knighthood or anything. Probably don't even want any of them. But when I was trying to build my house, like my brothers who could do all the stuff, I didn't have that ability. And he said, listen, if we're going to do it, we got to do it right. And we got to do it this way. If not, we're not going to get through. And he was willing to show me by drawing alongside, just like he did when I was a little boy. That's what we need to do. And we need to do that for our own children and for the children of our friends. And when we do that, we do it in love. Discipline isn't about taking the rod, as many of us, I think, have misconstrued. Spare the rod and spoil the child. It's about the shepherd with his staff taking the guide and nurturing, not beating the sheep. And that's the difference. Now, I have no qualms about standing in the gap. I have no desire to do anything other than the very best. I don't wish to go in the boxing ring to take on an opponent, but I will not stand in the chairs and complain. And if you're willing to move this country forward, let's draw alongside. But if you're going to beat up your gums and do nothing, stay home. You take no space. Tomorrow is another day, and I pray honestly and earnestly that we will be imbued with a sense of wisdom and humility. That as we move from this space, whether it's in the heavens beyond or if it's in the room next door, that we go with a spirit to give and to be thankful. Please join Mr. Art Monday morning for the record. God's willing, come back for Talk Today after the midday news. If you see me and you can chastise and correct, if you can compliment, and I don't only mean with the I, but with the E, do so. Because together we will be better if we work with a sense of love and unity. Be humble and kind. On Monday. I'll see you then.
Talk Today is brought to you by Subway, open 24 hours in Countryside, Anderson Square in Georgetown, and Centennial Towers in West Bay. And by the Ministry of District Administration, Tourism and Transport. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. MedLab in Smith Road Plaza, your complete medical laboratory solution. Call 949-7331. And Savannah Pharmacy in Countryside Shopping Village, convenient opening hours including